ooh, I pressed the button today. Ooh,
yeah, so you're pioneering it. It's the smashing of the champagne against the hull of the ship. You probably learned for the first time.
I'm a bit.
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of JD Strength. Today we're going to be talking about the front squat, and specifically the front squat, the ways you can use it, the ways you can approach it, why you might need to use it, and the things you can kind of get out of it. To quickly cover off, like, major thing with this, because a lot of people do struggle because there's a bunch of different ways you can front squat. If you can do a front rack position, that's great if you're an Olympic weightlifter. If you're not, it's just not necessary.
Yeah.
So don't worry if you can't do that. Cross position's fine. If you can't do that, getting some straps that you would use for like deadlifting straps to strap them up around the bar so you can hold onto the strap and keep them up. That's the other way you can do it. There's people who do that and move tons of weight as is. So there's lots of ways you can approach this. So there's no reason why you can be like, oh, I can't front squat unless you have no arms.
Even then, that's probably how you got on squat.
Yeah, which honestly, if you please post that video. But anyway, Dylan, we're going to go into the reason why you're actually front squatting right now, which is mostly around injury.
Yeah, well, I wanted to talk about this topic today because of my personal experience.
Yeah.
For the past while now, I've had a bit of an injury with my rib, and like, if it is my rib, where loading the bar on my back, whether it be a low bar or high bar, has been just giving me grief, and it's just painful. So trying to avoid that. Going to a front squat has been like the go-to thing for me right now, especially last few weeks I've been doing it. I've been feeling great, no pain whatsoever, and yeah, it's just been great for my circumstance. And if you are injured in that sort of sense, like we said earlier, tendonitis through your shoulders or elbows or even wrists or whatever.
Which is super common if you squat low bar. Like the number of people I hear complaining about shoulder and elbow shit.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Like, chances are if you low bar, you're going to have some sort of elbow or shoulder pain.
Yeah.
And a front squat is a great way to get some sort of stimulus without having the bar on your back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the reason why I'm doing it is because I can load it through my front, and I can be a bit more upright in that way. Because if I have the bar loaded like on my back, or I'm leaning over like that, it's just straight down on that rib where it's giving me grief. So I'm
just a ton of pain. Like
And a few people have spoken to me about it during the week, saying, "Why are you front squatting now?"
Yeah.
So that's why. And if you do have some rib pain from loading the bar, or any sort of pain from having the bar on your back, this is a good variant to use.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also a good thing because most people have a barbell, and generally the other like go-to movement for this would be like a safety bar squat.
Yeah.
So you can be able to, a lot more people can be able to do this. If you do have a safety bar, similar loading, not the same, and we'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah.
But like, I guess with yourself, like, how long are you planning on using it to try and avoid that?
Ideally, I want to keep it in my programming for as long as I can, but not as my main movement.
Yeah.
Like right now, it's got to be my main movement on my squat day. It'll be my squat movement for at least 5 weeks, and then we'll adjust from there and see how that goes.
Yeah.
But right now, that's the way I'm doing it.
So I guess that kind of explains that as well. Like, you don't want to be staying with it forever. Like, we're still powerlifters, still going to get the bar on your back.
It's rehab, basically. You don't want to do it forever.
Yeah, but don't be worried about taking 5, 6, 7 weeks and just doing the front squat, letting the rest of your body recover before getting back.
And slow load. Like, I haven't done, like, I can squat 1,000 pounds, but my best front squat is like 160 for 7.
Yeah, kilos, not pounds. So like
fucking
365.
Yeah, it may as well be.
Yeah.
But so I'm just loading up slowly. I'm not going off the percentage. I'm going off what I feel is good.
Yeah, comfortable with. Yeah. And probably the main reason why I like the front squat is actually more so from like a core stability perspective, because loading out in front of you on that front squat and the way that it grabs and pulls you forward, you'll generally not see people fail this movement because their legs can't take it. They'll fail it because they've lost it forward and they're dropping the bar.
The bars just slid off.
Just sliding off you. So just being able to maintain that strong trunk position is amazing for so many lifts.
It also goes in hand for my rehab because having that stability
keeps your back strong.
Yeah.
100%. And there's so many people who struggle with that with so many different movements. Like, and this is something that you'll kind of go, oh, it's a weightlifting move, or it's a bodybuilding movement, I don't need to do it. If you're the type of person who finds themselves in a back squat, rolling forward, that front squat position, having to maintain trunk stability is going to help avoid that collapse, at least if it is a back strength issue, not a technical one. Great thing to front squat. If you're finding that you're having issues around like shifting your weight and being comfortable on your heels, it's actually a really great movement. Just from, you'll have to keep it there, otherwise you're going to fall forward if you come forward on your toes. Like, it just keeps everything so much more locked in, because it's so much more susceptible to any sort of technical breakdown. If you're having any technical breakdown, throwing your hips back more, you're falling forward. If you find yourself coming too far forward on your toes and sitting down on that, it's going to be coming forward. If you find you're just losing it from your trunk rolling over, it's coming forward. So keeping that super tight core position just helps with so many other issues that you'll find. And this kind of rolls onto another thing that I wanted to say about the front squat, the way that it transfers over to other lifts. Like, funnily enough, being able to maintain that stable position and drive with your legs, actually surprisingly similar to having to maintain trunk position and drive in a deadlift while it's trying to roll you and pull you forward.
The bracing's very similar.
Yeah, bracing's incredibly similar. Like, you'll even notice a lot of people front squatting, they will breathe in and brace down to hold position.
It's the same thing as
just like
deadlift.
Yeah, just like a deadlift.
Yeah. Just to answer that.
Yeah, absolutely. Same sort of thing with a squat. If you're finding that you, as kind of mentioned before, you roll forward, or if you come forward in your toes, a normal squat, getting that position stronger, being able to sit down relatively back on your foot, not necessarily on your heels. I'm not saying that they should be squatting, but relatively back on your foot to make sure you don't come forward. It's going to feel way better. So it just teaches so many good positions and so many good little cues on how to make your other lifts stronger. It's just going to carry over to a bunch of stuff and make things feel amazing. And the other thing I was going to note, and this is just a thing in general with front squatting, I find it to be just a really satisfying lift.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it feels good when you nail it.
Like, it's sort of like an incline press off the squat.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's irrelevant to comps, but it's like, yeah, good.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah.
And I guess from your experience, obviously coming to powerlifting from a bodybuilding background, you wanted to speak about hypertrophy a bit as well.
Yeah, it's going through a hypertrophy phase. Front squats are a great quad builder.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't neglect the posterior chain doing it, but they do emphasize the quads more and the hip flexors as well. It's an incredible movement to load the quads. Having your heels raised a little bit, either by shoes or on a board or whatnot, is probably a better way to approach it, especially when you're beginning and learning how to do it. And if you're 900 feet tall like myself, it's easier being with heels raised.
You heard it here. Dylan is 900 feet tall. Godzilla, eat your heart out.
Yeah.
And that's the thing to note as well. Like, very few people are going to have the ankle mobility to do this without a heeled shoe. I do them in a heeled shoe. I know that Dylan does them with his heels chopped up with a board or plate.
Shoes.
There's no shoes. Like, feel free to do that. Don't look at it and be like, oh, I need to stay flat-footed. Like, if anything, that will create bad habits and you'll end up in a really bad position.
And by trying to force that as well, by having the flat feet, you'll end up having that rocking forward, hip shooting up issue as well. And what a lot of people don't understand as well is that when doing the front squat, you don't have to have your legs shoulder width apart.
Yeah.
It's, if anything, mimic your squat stance unless you're shoulder.
You can't mimic it. Like, actually, I correct myself. I have done front squats in my competition squat with. It looks dumb.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. It's terrible. People don't squat like me. Unless you have oddly specific hip angles.
But definitely have your hips, your feet at a normal stance to what you'd squat with. Maybe slightly narrower, if anything, but nothing too crazy. You're going to emphasize the quads either way. And you don't want to go too far from your high bar or back bar, low bar squat as well.
Yeah, otherwise you just don't get the carryover.
Yeah, otherwise it's just a completely different movement and it's just... Yeah. If you're a bodybuilder, then go nuts.
Yeah, bodybuilder, just do whichever position you get. Feel gets the most quad activation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that sums up the front squat pretty well. Like, really good movement.
Underutilized,
yeah,
to be honest.
Underutilized. I'd probably, like, if I had to rate it out of 10 for most powerlifts, I'd probably give it about a 7 to 7.5.
Yeah.
Which, like, really probably its only shortfalls for a powerlifter is it's really hard to load. Like, you can't go super heavy with it. Unless you're Dan Green, which, let's face it, rules don't apply.
Yeah.
It's going to be harder for you to load. There is going to be a little bit of a learning curve.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Like, everything else, it does really quite well.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's, just something to throw in off-season, be it as a recovery rehab movement, hypertrophy movement, or doing it as a trunk stability carryover to strong trunk position leg drive.
Yeah. And if you're wondering to which day to put it on, whether it be leg day or deadlift day, either, both, one of those days, it can go anywhere because it can cross over to the squat and the deadlift quite well.
And honestly, I actually do like having it on a deadlift day.
Yeah.
I actually find it feels, especially after deadlifting, where your back's a bit fatigued, if you can keep a good braced upright position, it just feels good getting some leg work in.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, I think that sums it up.
Yeah.
Good seeing you guys again. Actually getting on a roll with this and releasing stuff when we say we will. I know, shocking.
On time.
And it's also nice to know we'll be able to release more footage outside of this room soon.
Yeah.
That's been held back a bit just with audio quality out in the gym.
Yeah.
It's just terrible to hear us, so we're correcting that soon.
Massive.
And you'll actually be able to see more of us lifting. I know that Dylan's back is starting to feel better, so hopefully we get some heavy weight there. I'm deep off season, but actually starting to move some weight that doesn't seem abysmal anymore, so it's actually be interesting to look at. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Enjoy.
Do my clothes as well.